Good evening or good morning on whichever side of the planet you might be on today. This is the New Oaks AI podcast. I'm your host, Leland Best from Best Studios LLC. My good friend Ray Luan, I almost said your name backwards there, Ray. Ray Luan, CEO of New Oaks AI podcast, coming in from Beijing. So thanks for being here, Ray. How is everything over there on the other side?
Yeah, thank you, Leon. Everything's good. It's a sunny day. The weather is nice, a little bit hot, so ready to embrace the breakthrough of AI every single day.
It was like 88 degrees here today. Oops, what happened to my video already? It's already choking at me. Hold on a second. Oh, what's going on? There we go. It zoomed in. Oh, you know what it was? I set my phone down and it hit the rewind or the zoom button on my remote here.
Wow.
And it knocked it out. Knocked it out of whack there. Sorry about that. All right. Yeah, let's talk AI. There's a lot going on when it comes to AI trends, but we're going to focus on a particular trend that's happening right now. Ray made a really good observation of an Anthropic deep dive. If you're not familiar with what goes on over there, there's a couple of guys that were talking, and this is Shloto Douglas and Trenton Bricken. These are the guys over at Anthropic. There are a couple of engineers that know their stuff, you might say. And so they sat down and talked for a while, Ray. What exactly was it that they were talking about? It sounds like there's some new way to teach an AI that's better than what we've been doing before. So what is it? Hold on.
Yeah, so the two guys are from Anthropic's interpretability team and also their research team for alignment. I think those two, I think the podcast I recommend is pretty deep in terms of from high level to explain the trend and the near future of AI development. So the key takeaway is that reinforced learning (RL) has been implemented into large language model last year. I mean, since the past 12 months, I would say. So that was what caused the advancement of autonomous coding. Well, the reason is that reinforced learning, which, well, it sounds like a jargon, but what it really means that you use a reward function, right, to retrain the model. So reinforced learning in a layman's word is just a trial and error. It can use less computing power and generate better result. For example, DeepSeek was using reinforced learning so that they only trained the large language model with $5 million, right? Versus ChatGPT and Anthropic, like spend billions of dollars training the same model. Because, yeah, so that's the key difference. That's what make the AI coding so powerful nowadays. So that's a key takeaway. That's one. Number two, they predict the capability of large language model is already mature enough to replace white collar workers. So that's another shocking news. I mean, not really shocking news, but so the exact words they said, it mentioned is that within 2 years, right? The fastest within 2 years or at most 5 years, most of the white collar workers' job will be replaced by large language model in the form of AI coding.
That's great. I was just looking. There's a group that I belong to called the AI Engineering Prompts, and it's basically AI prompts for engineering entrepreneurs is the name of the group, and it's run by a gentleman by the name of Jonathan Mast. He's a really influential. He's got a group of probably 500,000 now on Facebook, but he made a comment on the fact that there are people now building entire C-suite and even advisory boards using AI, where they have the entire advisory board built and basically static so that you could go to them for anything. Wouldn't matter what type of business adventure you wanted to lean into. You could ask them for their advice and they'd be able to give it to you proper. So pretty cool stuff.
Exactly. Yep. So that's one of the reasons is that previously the large language model cannot work for too long, right? Well, the reason is that if the first reason is the length of the context window, right?
Yeah.
It's not too high. Second reason is that if the AI model was not stable and mature enough, when it run like over, for example, 550 rounds or 100 rounds of prompt, the hallucination will become bigger and bigger, so that it will run into a wall, right? I mean, hidden wall, which means that code will break immediately after. Yeah, completely lost, exactly. But with the reinforced learning technology and also the latest cloud Opus 4 is able to actually run 7 hours, right, without running into the code break wall. So that's, I think that's yep. So that's exactly 8 hours, right? So human only works 8 hours a day. So 7 hours of autonomous coding without any break, which means that equivalent to a human employee or developer, junior developer who can write, code for 8 hours.
Imagine when it's flawless code. Right now, it's not flawless. Obviously, we still run into odd subroutine generation where it's like instead of replacing something, it might add a reiteration down below that fixes the problem, but it doesn't really extract and remove the problem. So there are things that have to be looked at when it comes to case study as to how efficient is the code. Obviously, we still need the senior engineers to look it over and know exactly whether it's appropriate or not, and whether it's good code. But it'll only get better, like we always say. This is just the tip of the iceberg. So, and
go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I didn't want to go too far because it's the plug and play aspect of it, I think, is really kind of cool because I've looked at that a little bit. You've seen some of the models I've built just even within the New Oaks infrastructure where I was able to create smaller sub bots, let's say, that worked within the presence of a single bot. So as we look at it as a team, I think we have a lot more abilities to really unleash the full power of AI because then it doesn't have to remember everything itself. And that was why I split up the ultimate. I used 12 different agents at once to represent a team of, efficiency was basically what I was shooting for. And that's what I think we need is that ability to break it out into simpler tasks so the AI can get it right the first time.
Yeah, that's a good practice, Dylan. You're ahead of the game. I mean, in terms of visioning what AI can do for us, right? You rather than hire a AI developer, you hire AI team to work for you, right? But we, I think we both of us know what the challenge is, right? To really make the whole team work together, flawless, and achieve the better performance. I think the only challenge right now, other than technology, is the protocol, which means that the protocol that define and help the different members of the AI team communicate, smoothly, right, and seamlessly. So I think that's what MCP is for.
Yes.
So with MCP protocol, like all the AI agents built by different companies and based on different large language models, they still can communicate with each other, right, to send information to and get response back from the other agents. So that's how we can organize or orchestrate a team of AI employees that will work for us. So that's a key that I think still the infrastructure like MCP needs more development in order to make the whole AI employee concept or AI team, like you mentioned, concept work.
There's not much universal. Let me say the word proper. Universality, let's say. Is that a word? Universal? That's not really a word. That's not a word. What I'm looking to say is that we have basically the same chat interface that you see on Claude, that you see on OpenAI, that you see on Gemini. It's really not that much different. I'm waiting for the next step. I'm waiting to see, okay, what can we do to improve on that UI to build out agents that are more easily accessible, maybe easier to talk to, maybe easier to interface with, some simple touch points instead of always having to type out huge prompts to have it do something. I think there's going to be a more efficient way to interact with the AI that's coming. And we just haven't found that thing yet. We're still speaking to it because it's a language model. But I think we're going to find, just like other ways. And you made a mention too of a really cool paradox. You want to tell us about what could happen? This is just, one of those hypotheticals that might take place if we're not careful. So tell us about the flesh robot paradox.
Yeah. The flash robot paradox. Yeah, it's good name. So I think so when in the podcast, I think those two guys were discussing the future of AI, and they make a hypothesis, right? Because the capability of reinforced learning, so AI coding will be so much more advanced than the the human-like robot, humanoid, right? So which means that the embodiment or the human-like robot development is slower than AI coding. If that's the truth, right? Because we cannot make the human robots very much advanced, and then one day the AI will dominate the world with all the different agents and tools built by AI coding. Well, humans' brain is so much lag behind, and we can only function as a flash robot and work for AI coding, or be dominated or be instructed by AI. Then it will be a world that the AI is the brain and humans are the limbs and tools, right? We become the tools of AI. So that's what we imagine, that if embodiment is not so much advanced. Yeah, I like this. Let's see watch the. Yeah,
these are some of the announcements out of China, I'm sure you're aware of, with some of the newer robotic tech that's coming out. And its key abilities here that you're seeing are some of its performance enhancements when it comes to speed, balance, manipulation of the arms and limbs, obviously, and just being able to have instant reaction time is what I see. I mean, the dance moves on this thing are hilarious. But Ray, like you just said, this paradox is real because it's hypothetical, of course, but it is real when we think about it. It's no different than any other robotic paradoxes that we've had in the past. It's if it can't keep up, somebody's got to do the labor. And if the robots can't do it, it's expected we will have to under AI instructions. So it is a weird position that we're in right now, and I can't wait to see how it evolves. But I truly believe we'll be smart enough in this case to make sure that we're not being led by AI this soon in the game. Maybe as it gets too smart for us, but
it also remind me a famous TV sequel made by HBO, I think, the Westworld.
Yes.
If you ever watched the Westworld, the season 3, I think, in the season 3, the whole world is controlled by a AI brain, which is called Robocon. And the AI literally use algorithm to control everything in the world. It controls the stock market, it controls the weather forecast, it controls how the whole government works, and the robots is made by both human and mechanic robot, like human-like mechanic robot. So AI brain with the two of humanoid and also flash robot together, right? That's the whole. That's the whole picture of the future. I mean, we're living, a kind of crazy world.
Just own up to it. I mean, the more I see these robots in action, Ray, the more I kind of lose my sense of self. I watch these things in action. I'm like, is this real, or am I just looking at some kind of CGI generated thing? And I have to remind myself, no, this is a real technical unit that's standing and walking and moving on its own and being able to see where it can go and pick up audible signals. And it's just amazing. It really is. It's blowing my mind. So last on the list of the key highlights that they talked about that day was about managing all this, and where we start with the baseline models, multi-agent management. Ray, what did they emphasize particularly was about managing multiple cooperating agents rather than building a monolith, more like what I was doing at the time. I was just building one monolith agent that had a lot of sub agents substructured into it. What we're talking about now is having agents interact with each other at a level that's much more like human interaction with employees at different companies.
Right. So managing the collaboration of different agents, as you mentioned, the first layer is that the infrastructure need to be in place, which means that the protocol, the common interface needs to be in place so that the agent can communicate with each other seamlessly, which is why MCP is getting more and more popular. So that's the number one thing. And number two thing I think is so it's going to be a two-layer communication system. So the top layer is the planning robot, which means that we need a robot to do the planning, the design the whole architect of how the team work together. And then lower layer is that the workflow that a different team to work together. Yeah. So
well, it's focused more on stability than just the extreme of, getting a result. It's more about making something that has a reliability, that functions systematically, and 100% is what we're hoping for. Why should we automate something autonomously if it's not doing 99 to 100% of the work efficiently? It would be
exactly
ridiculous.
So the stability also is it's going to be the result of reinforced learning. But the reason that there's code break is the hallucination. So for example, if you work with team of AI agent, if one agent has 1% hallucination and the second agent has another 1% hallucination, and then those hallucinations will be multiplied together, which will result to 50% of hallucination. Well, the way to resolve this is that with reinforced learning, reasoning. So I think the planning robot or the architect robot is going to use inferencing or reasoning process to get rid of the opportunity of hallucination or code break during the workflow.
So then the architect is basically the overseer of what's being done with the other agents, right?
Yes, exactly. And then the reasoning or reinforced learning capability is key, because every reinforced learning is literally use a reward function to adjust the bias of different communication or different result of each agent, and then by iteration, again in the loop, again and again, but in a really fast fashion, the end error or hallucination probability will be reduced, hopefully to less than 0.1.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like giving a mouse. It's like giving a mouse a lot of cheese to respond appropriately really fast. Just exactly. To get it to turn through the maze, you got to reward it each time with a verifiable reward, and that's really what we're doing here. Is we're just telling the AI each time we give it a prompt and it gives us a response. If it's a proper response and a good response, we want to reward it with that. That way it knows that it's answering correctly and to the point of context that it's supposed to. Otherwise, it's just kind of throwing out answers. We're not really following up with the feedback that it needs. And I think a lot of times I heard something else the other day, Ray, when it came to synthetic data. I was reading somebody's post on LinkedIn, and what they've discovered is that it's because of a lot of the synthetic data that they've used to train the AI models that they're starting to do worse in some of the areas that they were expected to do better. And it's more because of this false, not really false, but just fake data. There's not enough real good archived data to use in certain areas that we would love to have, but we don't. So they're generating synthetic data, but it's hurting the AI's intelligence in a sense, because it's not real data. So, where they fix that, I'm not sure.
So I think the way there are two perspectives of, with what we just talked about. First perspective that right now the industry is putting compute first and data second. So the way that we solve the problem is that we improve the computing productivity, use hardware to reduce the issue that data may produce, right? That's the first thing. So that's why NVIDIA keep getting more powerful GPUs almost every quarter, if not every month, right? And that's the first thing. A second thing is that because human labeled data has been used up, right? We don't have a lot of human labeled data to use to train the model. So that's why we have to use synthetic data. But when we use synthetic data, as you mentioned, that not in every industry or every area that the synthetic data will work better. But AI coding is the only area that the synthetic data will perform much better than human, because it's very standard, right? If you get input of a computer program and output is certain, so you don't need a human to tell you whether the output is good or bad. You can use computer AI to test it, right? To give the good reward function. So that's why AI coding is the most important feature of AI. I mean, among all of the features, just as you mentioned, because the synthetic data will not mess up.
Well, it fills a void that has been a limiting factor on humankind since coding really evolved. It's one of those things that when you have a science that only a certain few amount of people are really good at, then there's a limiting factor as to how much it can advance and how well it can be appropriated to human behavior and how it can be, used in society and things of that nature. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to, as more people understand how to code, or at least have the tools to be able to code, whether they know that well how to or not, it's that they can generate ideas and thoughts and processes and new apps that we may never have even thought of without someone else's mind looking into it. So speaking of apps, Ray, let's head over to EasySite. We'll spend just a few minutes to wrap up some of the features that are here so that we can get on with things for the rest of the week. Stripe payments have been added over at EasySite. So how do I find that on the system, Ray? Right under the system settings? Give me a little rundown.
Yeah, system settings in the bottom. If you scroll down, go to settings, right, and go to Stripe. Yep.
Oh, look at that. Got it built right in. And I already have my Stripe API connected, so I'm just doing one-time payment. And if I wanted to, I could do a subscription as well.
Yeah, so with those two payment methods, I mean, for use case of a SaaS business or an e-commerce business, right? SaaS business probably can use monthly subscription or monthly payment model. And for the e-commerce business, you can use the one-time payment model, allow a customer to purchase the product. So that's what is used for.
And for some of the other things, I'm just going to go through the list here since we only have a few minutes. These are some of the additional features. There were 5 things that we're going to announce today, and that was community templates are now remixable, the pricing model update and credits and tokens, and the model expansion is something that's being integrated with DeepSeek and Gemini 2.5. We'll talk about that. And also interrupting long generation. So I just wanted to show there were some interface changes to the system recently. Last week, we talked about the dev and chat feature that was available in the lower right corner down here previously. So it used to be found right here. Now you're going to find it at the top of the page where you can select between the two modes, and it's going to tell you more about it. So Ray, tell us then about what the community templates are all about. Sounds like we can use those for ourselves, right?
Yeah, so if you go to the home page of EasySite, we put a lot of free templates that our customer built. And so pick anyone you like and open it up, and then just click duplicate. You can reuse the template and make it the base model of your own and build your own project or website, out of it.
So the people on the other end have to give permission on their own accounts that their site that they've built is given granted permission to be shared by others within the system. And now they can go ahead and fork that off and change, personalize, make it their own using someone else's template. Exactly. Very cool.
Exactly.
Pricing model update, credits versus tokens, Ray. What's the difference?
So right now we use credit system, which in one credit literally means that one prompt to make changes to your website. But I think it's not very transparent. So because AI model like cloud is using tokens to calculate the cost. So therefore, we are going to align with what the cloud model, large language model is using, the way that they were using. So we probably will use the tokens. I mean, you're looking at the LTD, but for the monthly,
I'm sorry, I was showing people the wrong
so
place.
they use credits, right? And then
over here.
Right, so that we can use tokens to calculate the cost for each prompt. Yeah, so people will not be confused by, what is one credit. So we will just use tokens to calculate how much, tokens are already consumed for each modification or alteration of your website. That will be much more transparent than using credit. So the key is to make it more transparent. Yeah.
I'm just going to try to get to the price. I had to log out of my site because I was in an LTD build on my end, because I've kind of partnered with Ray over here to help him get this thing going. And what we have here are the pricing plans for the monthly and annual setup. Or can you buy it annually, Ray? Do you just have monthly only? You don't really have an annual plan.
Yeah. Yeah, we probably will release the annual plan. Right now it's only
Gotcha. So you're basically going to pull in either the 10 free credits, the 100 credits per month, 200 credits a month, or 400 credits a month. And then there's 30,000 maximum as far as records go. And then the tokens are basically something that are purchased on the back end. You can add credits, but tokens are something you add through your own cloud account, correct? Or DeepSeek, or whichever else you want to add with the new features that you're adding. So, or is that, let me get this straight. Maybe I'm wrong, right? If I were to connect, I see here going down the list for the model expansion, you mentioned DeepSeek and Gemini 2.5. And I know these aren't the greatest coding engines, but they're used to incorporate into your app, correct? So how does the incorporation of the LLM work when it comes to model expansion?
Well, currently we are still evaluating the performance of DeepSeek and Gemini 2.5. So if they pass our evaluation test, we probably will integrate that as a part of large language model selection. So which means that you can select which model you want to use. So that's the current thought, but they need to pass our evaluation test. Otherwise, I think it's better to stick with cloud. Yeah,
that would make total sense to me. And then now in the process of building something, and I think I've made mention of this as well myself, you can stop an iteration dead in its tracks while it's processing and back up a step. It's not undoable any further than what you have in the list of reversions where you want to go back to something you've done before. You can't necessarily undo steps, but you can stop it and make it go back to where you were just a moment ago, correct?
So the one that is that, for example, you start a new prompt in the process, but you said, oh, maybe I click the button by mistake. I want to cancel it. You just cancel it and just, go to the previous state.
Oh, okay, cool. Very cool. Well, that makes it easy, doesn't it, Ray? So is there anything else then that you see as an advancement that a site like this could have? I mean, I'm looking at how you guys keep adding things to this, and then I wonder, you're able to build just about everything with this. What other direction could you see EasySite taking from here on? Have you had some other people generate ideas that EasySite would be capable of doing for you, or have we kind of met its match at this point? I'm just curious.
Yeah, so the other direction, as we mentioned, that we want to make EasySite a marketplace. So we are building the MCP tools, which means that you can use EasySite to call any third-party AI agent through MCP model. Or if you build a website, for example, and you can put it into EasySite marketplace, so that any other third-party AI agent can call your website or your web apps, right, through the MCP protocol, which means that you can get more traffic and to be part of the whole ecosystem. So that's the next step for development for EasySite.
I love it. So if you want to get involved with EasySite, go check out the website at EasySite.ai. That's EasySite.ai. Or you can bring your own key, get for, depends on your choice, obviously, 10, 25, 50, or $100 a month. You can get yourself set up to start building your own apps and your own SaaS platform so that you can start making money right away. Ray, thanks for coming out as you always do for the New Oaks AI podcast, where we talk about things trending in AI and those things that are going on at New Oaks and EasySite. So we appreciate all the time you put in and the effort you do to build products that you've brought to us. So thanks so much for that. Come by Tuesday nights at 9 p.m., which is where we're at Eastern Daylight Time. That will shift when the new season begins to play out in the fall. Obviously, it kicks back to the 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. so that Ray and I can get a little sleep and he gets up in the morning and we're all good. So, Ray, we'll catch you next time. Hope you continue to enjoy your summer and we'll see you next Tuesday. Take care.
See you next Tuesday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you, everyone.